It's not on, hold on.
Just adding that to your
It's on? It's on, okay. Good afternoon. My name is Frank Farry, State Senator for the 6th Senatorial District in Bucks County. Today is a wonderful day as we announce the unanimous passage of Senate Bill 88 from the Pennsylvania State Senate. Senate Bill 88 builds on the great efforts of Act 1 of 2023, which was led by President Pro Tem Kim Ward to my right here, which you'll hear for in a few minutes. What Senate Bill 88 does is it provides no-cost preventive screening for women in Pennsylvania. One of the differences between Senate Bill 88 and Act 1 is Act 1 covered high-risk individuals. Senate Bill 88 actually covers women with average risks. One of the things that we saw since Act 1 was implemented is women that received abnormal results from screenings sometimes had to actually pay for their supplemental screenings. Senate Bill 88 cures that issue. It broadens the eligibility for women in Pennsylvania. Here's part of why this is so important. I think of my wife, who was diagnosed with breast cancer in January of last year. She found her lump through a self-exam and thankfully had a doctor's appointment, ultimately got a mammogram, and was ultimately diagnosed with breast cancer. My wife has no family history of breast cancer. She does not display any of the genetic traits of having breast cancer. And as a 40-year-old woman, I can only imagine where we would be if she had not done that self-exam. So I think of other women in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that may now be covered because of Act 1 to get some initial diagnostic screening, but then maybe some of those are inconclusive. They show something, but it's not a clear diagnosis. And unfortunately, they may have to pay for the further diagnostic testing to find out if they have breast cancer. I know the challenges our family has faced, and we are very blessed to have good health insurance and access to wonderful health care providers in southeastern Pennsylvania, but not every Pennsylvanian can say that. So I appreciate my colleagues from both sides of the aisle who are standing here with me, as well as those that couldn't be here that just cast a yes vote for Senate Bill 88. And we look forward to its rapid passage in the House and ultimately being signed into law. So before I turn remarks over to President Pro Tem Kim Ward, I do want to recognize Representative Gina Curry, who is literally right behind me, who has been our partner in these efforts in the House. And Gina, we're going to hand the ball off to you, and hopefully you charge forward with it. So Gina, we appreciate you being here today and for your efforts as well. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the author of Act 1, breast cancer survivor herself and one of our champions, President Pro Tem Kim Ward.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's another great day in the Senate. It's another nonpartisan day in the Senate. Look at this. Look at this. Breast cancer, I think Senator Tartaglione said it first. It's not red, it's not blue, but it's pink. So we appreciate everyone's support for this bill. And today we're one step closer to updating the breast cancer screening law that we have here in Pennsylvania. So most of you know my story. I had breast cancer, but it seems like a long time ago. So you say, and we moved and we did some bills as a result of that. So why are we back here today? Because we need to update the law. The Trump administration is updating what they would like to see happen with breast cancer screening. And Senator Farry here, you know, sometimes when you're in public service and you say, what am I doing? What am I doing good, right? You live through something and then you do something terrific that helps everybody. It helps Pennsylvania families, mothers, sisters, wives, cousins, friends, anybody. It really is, this is just a great day. And this is a testament to how important this issue is to Pennsylvanians, especially with 1 out of 8 women getting breast cancer. And what Senator Farry said about women who aren't just high risk. If you talk to people, you can find, and I see every day, young women who don't really even qualify for any kind of breast cancer screening. They have breast cancer. And if they haven't pushed forward on their own, maybe paid for some of that care, we'd never know that they had breast cancer until it's way too late. So this bill is just so important. I'd like to thank all of my colleagues that stand alongside of all of us together here today for advancing this legislation. Republican, Democrat, Representative Curry. It is just a wonderful, wonderful day, a wonderful opportunity for Pennsylvania to stand out, to be, again, at the top of the totem pole when it comes to taking care of women, addressing women's health care. And I'm so thankful, and I'm thankful for you, Frank. You know, his wife had a really trying time for the last year and a half. Sometimes breast cancer is never easy, it is not, but sometimes it's harder than others. And she had it harder. And something, I don't know if any of you know this about Frank, but on her last chemo treatment, you can probably find the video, he had surprised her with a pink Volkswagen Bug. 1973. I mean, that's a great husband, right? And that's a great senator. So thank you all. Thank you, Pat. Thank you for all of your work that you have done, and I have known you since I got here because you have never stopped. I mean, you don't stop, right? I blocked her for a while in my office. I'm like, block that number. But just unbelievable good work, and you have made such a difference in the lives of so many women here in our Commonwealth. So this is a step one over to the House, and let's ask the governor, let's get this signed quickly. Thank you. Oh, yes. Right. Yeah, okay. I don't follow my papers, and that's... So it is my honor to bring up here my colleague who has breast cancer issues in your own family, right? And they're not great. Senator Jay Costa.
Thank you very much, Senator Ward. Let me start by echoing Senator Ward's comments and saying thank you to Pat. And how about a round of applause for the tremendous work that Pat Helpram is doing. Like Senator Ward, when I first got her, Pat, you were involved in this issue with the coalition for many years, and we owe a lot of gratitude to you. And so many women in this Commonwealth want to say thank you to you for your leadership in championing this important issue. With regard to why we're here today, it's really heartwarming to be here when we're in the middle of a budget session where there's so much contention about a variety of different issues, that we can find the time to put aside our differences on policy and budget matters and come together on another important issue like we are today to talk about how important it is to expand the coverage that we're talking about. First of all, when you stop and think about the number of individuals, the number of women who had access, including my own daughter, who, when the bill passed, we were able to get the coverage, get the testing that was needed. And fortunately, there was no issues with my daughter, but I can't say that for a lot of other people in the Commonwealth who finally had access to testing that allowed them the opportunity to get the tests, get the exams that need to be done, and take those steps necessary. As Senator Ferry talked about, it's those second steps and third steps that needed to be done that this legislation covers. So not only does it talk about those women who found something detectable or whatever the case might be, the ability to now be able to go get coverage and not have to worry about the costs associated with that, but also expanding the universe of people who are going to be tested. To me, that's extremely important. And I want to say thank you certainly to Senator Ward for the great work she's been leadership, along with Senator Ferry, and now you'll be hearing from Senator Pennycook in a moment, and Senator Tartaglione. But as I think about my own family, I think about my mom, who passed away recently associated with breast cancer. When I think about my sister, who had double mastectomy. When I think about my 30-some-year-old niece, 33-year-old niece who's going through it. And I think about my own daughter and my own granddaughter. Now, you worry about what's going to be available to them in terms of testing. To me, the ability to have access to these testing, this technology today, to catch it as soon as you can, how extremely important that is. And it says something to me as a Senate and as a House and as a General Assembly. We're coming together, as I mentioned, at this moment in time to be able to advance this legislation, despite the differences you may have everywhere else. This is a high priority for all of us collectively, and it's demonstrated by the folks who are standing behind me, all working together. So I want to say thank you for everyone involved. And now it's my honor to introduce Senator Tracy Pennycook. Senator.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Ward and Senator Ferry, for this groundbreaking legislation. For everyone standing here, this is such a deeply personal issue. And for me, it is really personal. Both grandmothers, my mother, my 2 aunts, my 2 cousins, and my 21-year-old daughter had breast cancer. There's nothing worse than hearing those words, "You have cancer." So this is so vitally important, and I am so proud of the work that has been done. Catching it early is the key to success. We are now going to be able to catch it even earlier. And that takes the pressure off of families that hear those words, "You have cancer." We are sending a message that we put women's health first here in Pennsylvania. And it gives people that hear those words, "You have cancer," hope. So thank you to my colleagues on both sides of the aisle for your hard work and coming together to make sure we take care of women in Pennsylvania. Thank you. I'm now followed by my colleague, Senator Tina Taglione.
Pat, I want to thank you. I was here when you started the Breast Cancer Coalition, so I've been here since the beginning. And I also want to thank Senator Ward and Senator Ferry for all their hard work. Today, I'm proud to say that Pennsylvania is once again leading the way to fight against breast cancer. With the passage of Senate Bill 88, we are building on the life-saving foundation we laid with Act 1 of 2023. And we're taking another critical step towards making breast cancer detection more accessible, affordable, and effective for every Pennsylvanian. I, too, want to let you know that this is very personal to me. I lost my sister to breast cancer in 2006, so I know what the pain feels like. I also know what it means to fight for policies that can spare other families that kind of loss. For far too long, cost has stood between patients and timely care. We've heard from women across the Commonwealth, women who put off a diagnostic mammogram because they couldn't afford it. That ends now. Senate Bill 88 eliminates cost sharing for diagnostic breast exams, so when a screening finds an abnormality, patients can get the follow-up testing they need without worrying about the bill. This is how we catch cancer early, and this is how we save lives. By removing this financial barrier, we are saying loud and clear, if you need care, you should get it, without delay and without debt. I want to thank my colleagues from both sides of the aisle for coming together to get this done. I know that our colleagues in the House will work to get this passed so we can turn it into law. And I especially want to thank the advocates, survivors, and families who have shared their stories and pushed for this change every step of the way. Breast cancer doesn't wait, but now, thanks to Senate Bill 88, neither do we. Thank you. I now pass this off to my colleague, Devlin Robinson.
Thank you, Senator Tartaglione. It's an honor to stand here today alongside my colleagues, Senator Ferry, Penny Cook, Senator Kim Ward, Senator Costa, Senator Tartaglione, and Pat. It's so nice to see you again after all the work that we did 2 years ago. All of which are here to support Senate Bill 88, that legislation that represents the next major step in the fight against breast cancer in Pennsylvania. Now, as we've heard from everyone else, the issue is personal to all of us, not just because we have our own personal histories, but we know someone who has these personal struggles. I myself, my family, we are BRCA gene carriers. So we know firsthand what it means to live in higher risk. We've had the conversations with doctors. We've felt the weight of uncertainty. And we've seen how critical early detection and timely diagnosis can be, not just for the person at risk, but for the entire family. That's why this bill matters. the passage of Senate Bill 88, we are eliminating cost barriers to diagnostic imaging, making sure that when a woman gets a concerning result from a mammogram or an MRI, they can immediately get the follow-up care that they need. No delays, no financial burdens, just access to answers and to potentially life-saving treatment. I want to thank Senate President Pro Tem Kim Ward for your leadership and unwavering commitment to women's health. Act 1 of 2023, which she championed, was a game changer, and Senate Bill 88 is going to build on that legacy. I also want to recognize the incredible advocacy of the Pennsylvania Breast Cancer Coalition. This bill would not be here without their tireless work. They have been fierce, compassionate voices for patients and families across our Commonwealth, and I'm proud to stand with them today. And to the women across Pennsylvania who are facing this journey, this bill is for you. We hear you, we see you, and we are doing everything we can to ensure that you are not alone. Thank you. And I want to reintroduce the maker of the bill, my friend Frank Ferry.
Thank you, Devlin. A few other folks and groups we want to recognize. Obviously, Pat's name has been mentioned many times, and she's such a power here, and we appreciate it. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for the kindness you have shown for my family during our 18-month journey. But supporters of this legislation include the PA Breast Cancer Coalition, Susan Komen, the American Cancer Society, the PA Radiological Society, the Medical Society, and the Hospital Association of Pennsylvania. So to those organizations, I want to thank you for lending your support to the work we were doing here today. Senator Ward brought up the bug, so I guess I need to address that point. So my wife's first vehicle was a 73 bug. And during the last handful of years, even pre-diagnosis, she has always wanted to have a 73 bug again. So I thought there would be no better time and no better spirit-lifting time than to get her one last spring. So we were able to get a 73 bug, paint it pink, and literally the last day of her chemo treatment, which was June 20th last year, after 5 months of treatment, we surprised her with a pink bug as she was coming out of her treatment. You can go to my personal Facebook page, it's on there publicly. You'll be able to see her reaction to it, June 20th of last year. But it has been very spirit lifting for her. But it is also about driving awareness, because you can imagine a pink, noisy 73 bug pulling up somewhere. People are like, what is that all about? And we actually use it as a tool to drive awareness. Ladies, get yourselves checked, right? Men, make sure your loved ones are getting checked. Because had she not checked herself, we may be having a different story right now. You know, what we did today, really reflects on something from our experiences. Her chemo treatments were every Thursday. And what was organized in this building, which she used to work in this building, was people would come to our office and have their pointer finger painted pink and pointed a picture of a bell. So while she sat in that chair getting her chemo treatments, my staff was texting her pictures of her old friends, people she went to college with, strangers, and it evolved from just doing it on Thursday to throughout the week, people getting their pictures. And it was so uplifting for her, she actually made a collage and actually had it printed of the people doing that. You know what though? Not everybody has that support structure. What we did today will help people with the support structure, but more importantly for me, those women that don't have the support structure, those women that don't have access to good health insurance. That's who we did this for today, and I look forward to it becoming law so they truly have access to the testing they need. Thank you.
We'll get it done quickly.